we saw Brian Branch get ejected yesterday for what appeared to be, and it was a little awkward to hear Tom Brady because, thou shalt not criticize officials because you own the Raiders now. And he said, well, I don't think the intent was there. Well, the intent's not part of it. They brought Dean Blandino on with the mop and the bucket to clean up what Tom had said because intent's not part of it. But Brian Branch got ejected, and Xavier Woods put Chris Olave in the hospital, and he didn't get ejected. And I think it is fair to just wonder, are they paying closer attention? It's the same thing back to the Sam Darnold
thing.
Review, everything. Are they paying closer attention to the bigger games?
Definitely. I don't feel like, to your point, I don't feel like they're worried about Carolina, New Orleans yesterday.
If Vikings-Colts is happening at 1 o'clock, nobody's saying to Sean Smith, pick up the flag.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you 100%. I don't think Dan Campbell's
If somebody said that to Sean Smith, we don't know whether
it's the 4:25 game. It was the big game of the day yesterday. It's Fox. It's all of that. So big eyes are on it. I would think the NFL is paying a little closer attention to it, but it shouldn't be that way. They should all be equal close attention to it. And, I understand what Dan Campbell was saying there. I don't think that was I'm not for the ejection stuff. I mean, again, but I do think that was a penalty, definitely, all right? That was a penalty. He took 2 steps. He saw that he did not catch the ball, and he kind of targeted the head. And I certainly deserve the penalty. The ejection, okay, we can discuss that.
I haven't thought about this before because I remember a time, and this was at least 10 years ago when Dean Blandino was still the VP of officiating. Because I got into this discussion with him about suspension versus ejection.
Yeah.
And he explained to me at the time that, and this was all on the record, he explained to me at the time that the officials are hesitant to eject because they know that the league office can look at it and take appropriate action on the back end, including a suspension.
Right.
What we see now, the league office gets involved with the pipeline and engineers some ejections. And we see it inconsistently. I think the better approach, and they need to take a step back and ask themselves this question. If we're not going to be 100% consistent with ejections, let's just not have ejections. And let's suspend people because from the gambling standpoint, and they need to care about this.
Yeah.
If they're going to grab, they're in that booth with all the money in the air and they're grabbing it and they're jamming it in their pockets. If they're going to do that with the gambling money, you need to have certainty for the people who are placing the wagers.
So at least wait till the game's over.
Wait till the game's over and suspend the guy next week.
And suspend him if you
because then you have certainty next week because you know the guy's been suspended before you make your bet.
Right.
Puka Nacua. I mean, how many times have we seen a guy throw a punch and not get ejected?
Yeah.
Puka Nacua gets ejected yesterday for something we have seen guys do many times and not get ejected.
Right.
It is just another way for someone to exercise discretion in a way that will cause people to slip on the tinfoil hat and say the fix is in. So I urge the NFL, if you're listening, and you're probably not, but maybe you'll get the clip from someone. I urge you to reconsider ejections entirely. Just suspend guys. Suspend guys for the next game because it creates a higher degree of certainty. Now, I know there still needs to be a line. Like if you Jeff Galooly someone on the sideline, you probably should get ejected, right? I mean, there's a certain – but I'm saying the bar needs to be higher to actually eject someone from a game because you can always suspend them from the next game.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. And I would rather it be that way than the emotional – right, on the moment, the crowd's yelling, all this stuff, and you're hearing all that, and maybe you make a rash decision.
And there's no appeal process. At least if you suspend the guy, it goes through a hearing and a neutral, and they've got like 4 different people now who can handle these cases. You can decide whether or not it's a fair outcome. I just think it's more reasoned, it's more deliberate, and it avoids disrupting the expectations that the people have who are wagering their hard-earned money, for example, on Puka Nacua, hitting his over prop.
Yep.
And people say, well, why do they care? Because they bet on it. And it's part of what the NFL is making money off of from the sports books because all the bets that get placed on the over props.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.